The phone rang at 2:14 a.m. Not a call. A notification. 71 missed calls stacked like bruises. I was standing barefoot on warm stone, the Alps breathing quietly beyond the glass. The villa slept. The lake below held the moon like a secret it wouldn't tell. I didn't answer. Earlier that evening, a photograph had escaped my private folder, shared by someone who wanted applause. My name etched in brushed steel, fixed to a door taller than my son-in-law's ego. CEO, $8 billion in valuation. A champagne flute caught mid-laugh. The wrong people saw it. The calls came from my daughter-in-law first. Then my son-in-law. Then numbers I didn't recognize. Friends who had learned my worth only after the price tag. I let the phone vibrate itself hoarse. 6 months earlier, I had been seated at the far end of a long table, my hands still smelling faintly of oil and iron. He had leaned back, grinning, wine-red confidence sloshing in his glass. Manual labor is dying, he'd laughed. You're just a 65-year-old has-been. Everyone had smiled, including my daughter. I smiled too, because some truths prefer to arrive late. The betrayal didn't announce itself. It seeped. It lived in the way my daughter stopped meeting my eyes, in the way my son-in-law's jokes sharpened, aimed, in the sudden interest they took in my retirement, in the paper slid across my kitchen table, powers of attorney, dressed as favors. I told myself it was generational noise, ambition rubbing against age. Then I saw the messages, not by hacking, by accident, a reflection in a darkened screen as my daughter-in-law, my son's wife, my son's choice, tilted her phone away too late. A name saved as A, a message that said, he's still clueless, clueless. I felt the word land and split me open. Later, my son-in-law called. Cheerful, too cheerful. He suggested I sell the last of my workshops. Free yourself, he said. Let the future handle it. The future, I learned, already had plans for me. At dinner that night, he laughed again. The table laughed with him. My daughter-in-law added seasoning to the joke. If you want to join Thanksgiving, she shouted later over the phone. Drunk on confidence, come wash the dishes. I said nothing. Silence is how I listen. I didn't confront. I never do. I watched. I pulled phone records under a shell company I'd dissolved a decade ago. I cross-checked calendars, flights that overlapped, hotels billed to consulting. I ordered a private audit on a firm. My son-in-law swore he ran clean. I smiled at family lunches. I praised his hustle. I let my daughter-in-law talk about money, about legacy, about how men like me fade. Inside, the storm learned my name. The affair was obvious once I allowed myself to see it. Not passion, convenience. My daughter-in-law and his CFO, too. Predators sharing a carcass they thought was already dead. But the deeper cut wasn't the bed. It was the plan. They were siphoning, quietly, using my dormant patents, designs I'd abandoned to secure credit. Inflate valuation, position a sale. They needed my signature or my absence. I gave them both. I had the DNA test done anyway. Old habits. Verify everything. My grandson was mine. That mercy landed soft. It didn't change the math. I began moving pieces. Old friends, old debts, board seats owed. A merger announced in Zurich. A door prepared. My name waited. The report arrived on a Tuesday. Clean, comprehensive, devastating. I invited them to lunch. No speeches, no anger. I slid the folder across the table, my hand steady. My daughter-in-law's smile froze first. The CFO's color drained next. My son-in-law read until his fingers trembled. He looked up at me, eyes wet. Dad, I raised a finger. One page, a bank transfer, another, a hotel receipt. Another, a valuation memo using my designs. My handwriting ghosted into theirs. You laughed at me, I said softly. That's fine. I stood. But you stole from me. They spoke at once. I didn't listen. I never needed to. The revenge was already done. The company they thought they owned had been acquired by mine. Their shares diluted into apology. The CFO was escorted out by security before dessert. My daughter-in-law's calls went unanswered as compliance did its work. My son-in-law showed up at the office 2 weeks later. He stopped when he saw the door. My name, CEO. He laughed once. A broken sound. I didn't know, he said. I swear. I stepped past him. If you want to join Thanksgiving, I told him. My voice even. Come wash the dishes. I didn't look back. Now the lake is quiet again. The phone finally sleeps. I think about hands. How they build, how they take, how they tremble when the bill arrives. I loved my family once. I love clarity more. Age didn't make me obsolete. It made me patient. Some men mistake silence for weakness. Some betrayals teach you who you've always been. I turn off the light and let the dark keep what's left. They wanted my ending. I wrote theirs.